So in this section, you will learn about arrays in methods. We already learned about arrays, what is array and how to define the array, and then how to use array in some problems, like how to do the tallying. And we are going to use array for this one. And also we will use the array to deal with the multi-dimensional array. So what is multi-dimensional array? We will learn. And we are going to use array list for just very simple example. Now we are going to learn about arrays in methods. Let's suppose we have this one. We have a method. So this public static void print array, and then you will have one parameter. So this parameter is an array. You can see we have the square bracket. This square bracket represents the array, and the variable name is array. Okay. Now I have a for loop. So this for loop will start from 0, and then it will go until the length. So the length of the array, what does it mean? So if we have the array size is 5, then we will go until 5. If we have the array size is 10, then we will go until 10. And then for every time we finish the statement, we will do the I++. Okay. And then you can see here, we have this one. It is an array. And we define the variable. If you still remember, we define in one statement. Okay. So 3, 1, 2, 6, 4, 2. So we have 6 elements. And then after we have the 6 elements, we want to print the array. How we can print the array? We put the list. List is the variable, and we want to use this variable for accessing this method. And then after we have this one, we will execute this statement. And after we finish this statement, then we will show what is this array. So pass by value. So Java will use the pass by value to pass the arguments to a method. We have primitive data type, and we have passing arrays. So do you know what is the meaning by primitive data type? So when we use the primitive data type, okay, so the primitive data type, it means the integer, double, character. So it is just the primitive, just general data type. But passing arrays. Passing array means every data type that is an array. So we have like the integer, so, and then we have this one, double. For example, we have also array. So everything, the data type that contain array, it will be the passing arrays. So if the parameter is a primitive type value, so the actual value is passed. Changing the value of the local parameter inside the method does not affect the value of the variable outside the method. So, for example, if I do with this integer, double and character, and then I do some changes on the method. If I do some changes inside the method, it will not affect the variable outside the method. Okay. Now, if we have the array type, what does it mean by this array type? This array type is what we can see about this integer. Okay. We have this double. So this kind of things is array, and if it is an array, we can say that any changes to the array that occurs inside the method will affect the original array that was passed as the argument. So please pay attention with the does not affect, and this one, it will affect. So for example, we have this one. I have the main method, and then I have x equals to 1, and then I have y equals to an array, and this array contain of size 10. Okay, and I have m, x, and y. So as you can see here, the x is integer. So I can say this is the primitive data type. Okay, and this parameter is an array type. Okay, so it's different. If you are using the primitive data type, whenever you assign any value, let's say this one x is equal to 1, okay, and then you pass to this method, and the number which is originally from x now has been updated into 1001, and then y, which is originally 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, because there is nothing. Okay. And then when you pass this y into this method, we want to update the index 0. So the index 0 now will be inserted with the value 5555. What happens if you print? If you print x, what happens? And if you print y0, what happens? So let's see. You can go to the E class. Oh, sorry, to the, maybe I will create a new class. Let's make tests. Okay. I will make a main function here. Okay. And then I will copy and paste this one. So this is the public class test. I will put this. Okay, there are some errors. Usually these errors is about the string, because there are many space here. So you can just delete the space. Okay. After you clear the error message, so you can start this one, and you can take a look. X originally 1, and then once you call the method, x is the parameter, and it goes to this variable number, and once you change the number into 1001, okay, x is still 1. Okay. What about if y. Y, it is an array. And then y has been set with a value 0, 0, 0, 0, as you might know. If we just make a definition of an array, so the array will contain 0 because there is no input at the first time. So when we have all zeros, we enter this method. It means all of the numbers are 0. And then we want to update numbers in index 0 becomes 5555. After this method, we go here and the y0 is 5555. Okay. So you can make sure with this one. I can make the x print line before the method and after the method. If you see this one, you can see the difference. If you are having only a primitive variable, a primitive data type like integer, then there will be no changes. But if your parameter is an array, then once you modify inside the method, it will affect the variable outside the method. Okay, so that's the meaning. So that's the meaning by this definition, the primitive value type and this array type. Okay. So the idea of this one, actually, we want to call it as the reference. Okay. So whenever we invoke x, y with the function or the method name m, the value of x and y are passed to number and numbers. Okay, so it has been passed to number and numbers. Since y contains the reference value to the array, the numbers now contains the same reference value to the same array. So it means when you have the array, we have the reference. So the reference will always be updated whenever you update in every method. So for example, if I start with 1, okay, if I start with 1 for the first time this primitive data type, even though I change this to 1001, there will be no effect. But for the y, it is based on the reference, and the reference is something in the memory, in the computer memory. Yeah, I will not discuss these memory things, but when we update in the method, so every time we change this one, it will be always changeable to other methods. So this is the memory in the computer, and Java will always access the memory of the array. So that's about the array in Java. So let's see about the pass array. So the objective of this code is to demonstrate differences of passing primitive data type variables and array variables. So let's see this code. We have integer, which is an array because we have the square bracket, and then we have a, which is a variable name, and there are two values, 1 and 2. And then we will run for every statement this one before we invoke the swap. We will see the result, and we will do the swap, and then after invoking the swap. So we will see what is the result before and after. In this case, we want just to access the data. So we do not use any array. We just want to access the data. But what happens if we have this array? Okay. So you can check this one. With the first swap, the order is not changed because it is accessible with the primitive data type. But the second statement here, we use swap first to in array. What does it mean, this one? We want to access this method with one array. Okay. This is array A, and then we know that this parameter is an array. So this parameter, which is an array, we want to swap. You know what is swap? Swap is change the position. We want to change the position by giving one variable temp equals to array index 0, and then array index 0 equals to array index 1, and then array index 1 equal to temp. Okay. So do you know why we need to have this variable temp? Okay, someone send me a message. Oops. Okay. I think I will do something after this one. If you are doing with this one, array if I'm doing array 0 equal to array index 1, what will happen? So the array index 0 will be replaced with the value of array index 1. And then let's suppose I want to swap like this one. Array index 1 will be replaced with the array index 0. What happened? Yeah, we know that the array index 0 is 1 and the array index 1 is 2. So the first statement, the array index 0 will be replaced with the array index 1. So the array index 0 will become 2. Okay. And if we go to the next statement, what happens? The array index 1 equal to array index 0. What is the array index 0? Because the new array index 0 is 2, so the array index 1 will be still 2. So there will be no difference because we updated at the same variable. So that's why we need to put into a separate variable temp, for example, temporary. So whenever you change or whenever you swap, it will not affect the old variable. So the temp will be array index 0. So in this case, temp will be 1. Okay. So maybe I will not use it. So temp now will be 1. And then if I updated array index 0 equal to array index 1, then the array index 0 become 2. Okay. And then what happens next is if I want to update array index 1 equals to the temp, then it will be the array index 1 equals to temp. Temp is 1. So we will swap according to the variable temporary. Okay. So using this one, we can swap. Using this one, we can also swap. But the only difference is this swap is using the primitive data type. And this swap is using the array. Okay. So what we are going to see here is about the reference. Okay. Whenever we use only the primitive data type, there is no reference. So the reference here is the heap. Okay, I will not explain this detail, but just think that in the computer we have a memory, and this memory will put all the reference. And if you use array, they will store this reference. But if you are using the primitive data type, it will not store the reference. Now we have another kind of method. If we use void, there will be no return value. Okay. If we use void, there is no return value. But if we use a variable name, then the return value should be the same with the variable data type. If we use this integer, then the return value should be any variable with the integer data type. The idea is the same. If you want to return an array here, then the return value should be also an array. Okay. So in this case, this is an array, and this array will be the return value. Okay. So if we want to see the simulation, okay, so I think this is not simulation, but this is the animation. Let's see. If I have the list 1, and then the list 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have reverse. Let's say reverse, I want to change the order. Okay. So the original order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But after reverse, I want to change it to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So how can I do this one? So this is the animation to show this code. At the first time, if you have this method, you will see that it is a method that will return an array. Okay. And there is one parameter, and the parameter is an array. Now, you will do this first statement. The first statement, okay, so we will check step by step. The first statement is to build an array resolve, and this array will have the length. Okay, the length is from this one list, So let's say we have this one, so it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length will be 6. So the size of the array will be 6. We will do the loop from 0 until length minus 1. Okay. So if it is okay, oh, we have the I starting from 0, and then J is starting from result dot length minus 1, and then I, if it is still less than list dot length, it means I will start from 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3. So we have the length equals to 6. So if it is still less than 6, we will keep looping. And the J, so I will start from 0, and J will start from 5. And if you see this one, I will be added by 1. So I will go toward 6 or 5, okay? And then J will be minus minus. So it will be reduced from 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then 0. Okay. So let's see how this one works. If we already set this one, okay, we will do this one. J equals to 5 and I equals to 0. Now it will check. I equals 0 is less than 6. Yes. And result J equals to list I. So the result is a new result is the new array. Okay. Result is the new array. And the result index J. We have the J equals to 5 and I equals to 0. So it means the result in index 5 equals to the list index 0. List index 0 is 1. And then we want to assign this value to the result index 5. Okay. That's the first iteration. What will be the next iteration? Okay, we will add I by 1, and then we will decrease J by 1. So J becomes 4 and I becomes 1. Again, we will check I equals to 1 is less than 6. Yes. And now we have the result J and I. Okay. So the result in index 4 equals to the list index 1. So this will be assigned here. Okay. And then after you do this one, again, I will be added by 1 and J will be decreased by 1. So we again do the iteration. After we have this I equals to 2, which is still less than 6, yeah, we will do again. And then we will swap, or we will put this element into the result. And then again, I plus plus, J minus minus. And then check, 3 is still less than 6. Okay? Then we will do again. 4 is assigned to this position. And then I plus plus, J minus minus. And then check again, I is less than 6. Yes. Now we assign result equals to the result J, which is 1, equals to list 4. So we assign this one. And then I plus plus, J minus minus. Again, we check if I is still less than 6. We do this one. And I think this is the final one. I plus plus, J minus minus. Because now I is greater than 6, we will exit through. And the last one, we will put the result. So the result here we'll go to the list 2. So you check this one. List 2. Okay. So this result, we have the reverse list. We will have a variable result, and this result will be assigned to the array list 2. Okay. So let's see the examples in Eclipse. It is about count letters in array. Okay, it's a bit long code. Okay. The idea is the same with what we already learned in the previous section. So we can try to calculate about the characters. So here is a character. We want to create array. What is create array? Okay, there is one method. So if you want to take a look on the details, I think you can check this one. On the left panel, okay, you can see my mouse. So there is outline. Okay, can you see outline? If you click outline, you will see this kind of tree. This is what we call as the tree or outline. In this Java code, we have the main method, we have create array method, we have display array method, we have count letters method, and then we have display count method. And you can see that we have this void. It means, yeah, there is no return value. We have this character with an array, so it means it is an array. And then we have void, okay, integer with an array, and then void. So you already know, void is a method without return value. And then in this case, we want to return a value in array, and the array will be in the integer. Okay. So those are the structure of this code. So in this code, we have 4 methods. Okay. So now the example is getting more complex and more complex. Hopefully you can follow this lecture. In the first part, we are going to create an array. And how we create the array? Okay, in this array, we want to create 100 characters. So in the 100 characters, we want to randomize. Okay, what is this mean? So we want to get any character in random, and the character will be in the lowercase. So if you want to get the idea about this one, you can go to this method by pressing the control. Okay. After you press the control, okay, after you press the control, then you will see the thumbnail. Okay, so you can click, and you will see there is a Java file, random character. So this is the random character. Okay, there is one random character.java, and in this random character, we want to get a letter, lowercase letter, from A until Z, and it is random. It can be any letter. If you want to check this get random character, you can again press control. After you press control, move your mouse here, and then you can go to this get random character. So the character will be, okay, this one. I hope that you are not having difficulties to understand this one. So last time we have the idea about the character. So the character can be used in the integer value. So we know A is a number with 97. B is a number with 98. C is a number with 99, and so on. So that's the ASCII or the code based on the American standard. So we can make a random value, okay, like this one. So if we know the beginning of the character, which is A, and we know the ending of the character, which is Z, so any value in the randomize, yeah, we can make any value plus the original character. So for example, if this value generates 0, then the integer value of A plus 0, it means the random character will be A. If the math random produce 1, then it means A plus 1. So it means it is B. If the random value is 5, then A plus 5. Then it means A plus 5 is F. Okay, and so on. So after we have this random character, we want to display the array. So displaying the array is something to show the array. Yeah, we just want to show the array, and then, yeah, because there are 100 characters, so we want to split into 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. So that's the meaning by this 20. Okay. And after we display this array, we want to count the letters. So counting the letter is the same with the tallying. Okay. So the tallying in the previous section is similar with this one. So when we want to get every of the index, yeah, we want to check this one, character I minus 8. It will be the number. So we know that there are 26 digits. So the 26 digit will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G until 26. And if, for example, B is, for example, 98, and then if A is 97, then the index will be index 1. If we know that this is the character of A, 97, and then the A is also 97, then it will be the index of 0, and so on. So we will try to add every index with 1 if we found that the character is there. And finally, we will display the counts. So this is only to display. So if you check this one, this is the randomized value. Okay. And then once you calculate, okay, there are 3A, there are 3B, there are 3C, there are 11D, there are 1E, and so on until Z. Okay. Okay, I guess I will stop here. Do you have any questions, comments?